As already mentioned in the first part of this analysis series, Dragon Ball is a story in which the concept of Yin and Yang, as well as one within the other, play a pivotal role in crafting its characters. This can be seen very obviously within the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, as one of its most ongoing themes alongside that of coming of age in the physical and mental growth of Goku, Kuririn, and even Muten Roshi to some extent. Throughout the arc, we have many mentions of light and dark, primarily through Muten Roshi commenting on Tenshinhan's morality in what's quite a paradoxical character, as expected of Toriyama loving to utilise opposites. Those familiar with many Eastern beliefs will know that Tenshinhan's third eye represents enlightenment, and this is corroborated with comments from Toriyama on Tenshinhan having the potential to utilise its enlightened ability more so, if not for Surusen's indoctrination clouding him. The symbolism of light within his character that helps lead Roshi into understanding he isn't suited for an assassin's path are more rooted into his character than this though, with some of his martial arts displays. For example, the hand sign he makes when neutralizing Yamcha's Kamehameha with a Ki-Eye is the Uttara Bodhi Mudra, which represents enlightenment and the channeling of Buddha's supreme light. An even more obvious piece of light symbolism for those aware of the terms though is the technique Tenshinhan invented before many started copying him, in the Taioken. Though its appearance as blinding light and the Funimation dub name of solar flare make the light obvious, those familiar with what makes up its Japanese name know that solar flare doesn't really do the technique justice. Taioken means fist of the sun, and the Japanese word for sun, Taiyo, is derived from the characters for supreme and yang. Those who saw the video on the Sayuki arc will already be catching on that this technique therefore consists of Tenshinhan bringing forth extreme yang energy from his body's internal ki. In short, Tenshinhan is a character who is naturally of a light yang disposition, and his conflict in the arc comes from recognizing and embracing it when trapped by the darker Yin upbringing Surusen had provided him. I'll go more into detail on how Toriyama can wonderfully handle the concept of nature versus nurture in another video in this series, but for now, this is how he weaves Budo Daoist symbolism into Tenshinhan's character to convey it. Light and darkness aren't exclusively used for Tenshinhan's character though. We also see this well with Kuririn vs Chaozu, with the expressive and yang-filled Hunk contrasting with the externally emotionless mix of Jiren and Bunraku, types of Chinese and Japanese dolls respectively, along with that of a Jianshi, a type of Chinese vampiric creature, to show Chaozu as having much yin, as aspects such as hidden or obscure qualities are associated with Yin, and the undead Jianshi is naturally a creature of darkness. There's also Okami Otoko, or man-wolf, as an overt display of light and dark in how the full moon changes him. Despite Muten Roshi appealing for Tenshinhan to reject darkness and walk a path of light, or achieve enlightenment given the kanji used in the sentences, he himself has both light and darkness be present diametrically in Daoist terms, with the perverted Kame-sen who hides his eyes and thereby intentions at times through his sunglasses, contrasts with Muten Roshi removing his yin when playing the part of the wise mentor Jackie Chun, though still with the yin quality of hidden attributes to him in doing so through disguise, as well as letting his perverted side slip at times. This also makes it fitting that it's due to the shedding of this darker, obscure attire that is his sunglasses, which causes Jackie to fall prey to Tenshinhan's Taioken. It is even present in Goku's match with Kuririn, when the former is blinded by the sun reflecting off the latter's head. It goes without saying that the sun is a symbol of light and, in the context of this story, acts as a vehicle for reflecting one's self-perceptions, as with the Taioken revealing Tenshinhan's flawed perception of himself as an evil assassin under Surusen's tutelage. Here it helps shed any self-perceptions Goku may have had on it being an easy match, with him being surprised by Kuririn's capabilities, and Kuririn in turn proving what self-doubts he had on his capabilities prior were incorrect, as his usage of the sun alongside his makeshift attempt at flight present him as emulating qualities of the Sennin in a very tactical manner to show both his skill and intelligence as a fighter, alongside the fruits of his Shugyo. At the same time, however, it acts as an inciting incident to Kuririn overestimating his abilities and underestimating Goku in him having not accounted for Goku strengthening his one weakness, or the latter having held back his true strength. It's in the final match between Goku and Tenshinhan that we see even more reinforcing of these uses of Yin and Yang to convey dark and light in the narrative. There is of course the hidden nature of underhanded tactics in Chaozu paralysing Goku, which forces Tenshinhan to admit to his true Yang nature in turn against Surusen's teachings. But there are also two techniques Tenshinhan first displays thereafter. The Shioken only being performed here in the manga would naturally imply it to take much concentration as expected of something Tenshinhan can only accomplish through his enlightened third eye. And we see an even more draining technique in the Kikoho. The latter technique, being the life-risking one, makes it perfect for Surusen's darker ideology, with a focus on forbidden techniques that risks the practitioner's life in one blow, as opposed to Kame-sen's ideology of crafting a solid foundation through mastering the basics. This is explored even further in the lore of Dragon Ball Online, wherein Tenshinhan's ideology of the Shin Surusen Ryu being one amplifying one's ki through life-risking techniques, such as the Shin Kikoho or self-destruction, as opposed to the Shin Kame-sen Ryu founded by Kuririn, focusing on teamwork and chipping away at an opponent with relentless attacks. Not only that, but the Kikoho acts as a perfect balancing of Yin and Yang energies. Tenshinhan starts preparing it with the Utarabodhi mudra mentioned before, and then performing a mudra reminiscent of the yogic yoni that represents space, and has a clear feminine Yin energy to it, through resembling a womb. In other words, the Kikoho unites the Yin and Yang energies of his ki for his internal light to bring forth external emptiness in one attack. Following Tenshinhan's victory and him choosing to walk the path of light, it's fitting the end of the arc leading directly into the Piccolo Daimao arc ends on a note of darkness in Kuririn's death. Next time, we will focus on the Piccolo Daimao arc, particularly similar diametric ideas of life and death.